In the ancient kingdom of Eldoria, where towering silver trees kissed the sky and rivers shimmered like liquid crystal, there lived two souls bound by fate. Aelion, a valiant elven warrior with emerald eyes and hair dark as midnight, was sworn to protect his people. Serenya, the daughter of the Moon Council, carried the rare gift of foresight, a gift that made her both revered and feared. From the moment their paths crossed beneath the starlit canopy, their hearts recognized one another. It was a love unspoken yet undeniable, fragile as the morning dew, but powerful as the roots of the ancient forest itself. Yet destiny is rarely kind to those who dare to dream.
Epic, romantic, and dramatic tone, blending passion, sacrifice, and dark fantasy. The peace of Eldoria shattered when the human empire invaded, seeking the elves' sacred crystal wells, sources of magic older than time. War thundered across the lands, burning forests and silencing birdsong. Aelion was called to the front lines, his blade gleaming with ancestral fire, while Serenya remained in the high towers, bound by duty to counsel the Council of Elders. Each night, she prayed to the stars for his safety, while he carried her memory into every battle, whispering her name before every strike. The war became a thief, stealing years of their love, leaving only echoes of what might have been.
The war dragged on, and whispers of despair crept into Eldoria. Aelion fought with unmatched bravery, yet his soul ached for the warmth of Serenya's presence. Rumors reached her ears, tales of him standing against legions, bloodied yet unbroken. But in her dreams she saw visions of his suffering, wounds not of the flesh but of the spirit. She saw chains binding him, shadows consuming his light. Serenya knew the war was not only of swords and fire, but of destiny itself. Her gift of foresight told her a truth she feared. Their love was the key to either salvation or ruin. One fateful night, under a moon veiled in crimson mist, Serenya was struck by a vision more vivid than any before. She saw Aelion captured, his blade broken, his hands bound by iron laced with sorcery. His emerald eyes still burned, but his strength was fading. The human empire had taken him deep into their stronghold, far beyond the borderlands. The vision shook her, but it also awakened something long buried within her: courage to defy her people's laws. For love, she would risk banishment or worse. She vowed she would not let destiny dictate their end. Serenya cloaked herself in the colors of the night and slipped away from Eldoria's gates. Every step into the mortal lands felt heavier, as if the forest itself begged her to turn back. Yet her heart carried her forward, guided by the faint thread that bound her to Aelion's soul. Along her path, she encountered ruins of villages scorched by war and heard whispers of the Elven ghost who fought like 10 men.
Her heart clenched at the thought of him alone in chains, yet she pressed on. She was no warrior, but her resolve was sharper than any blade.
In the enemy stronghold, Aelion endured torment. The humans sought to break him, to force secrets of the crystal wells from his lips. Chains of rune-carved iron weakened his spirit, draining the magic within his veins. Yet each time he faltered, he remembered Serenya. The memory of her smile was a shield, her voice in his mind a weapon. Even as the darkness whispered surrender, he resisted. He knew in his heart that she was out there, fighting her own battle to reach him. That belief kept his soul unbroken, even as his body withered.
Days turned into weeks as Serenya infiltrated the Empire. She traded jewels for whispers, used her foresight to evade capture, and followed every thread of rumor. Finally, she stood before the Iron Fortress, where Aelion was kept. Its spires clawed at the heavens, black and cold, guarded by soldiers and wards of shadow magic. Serenya's hands trembled, but her heart burned like wildfire. She closed her eyes and called upon the ancient power within her blood, the gift she had once feared. The stars whispered back, filling her veins with light. For Aelion, she would defy destiny itself.
Under the cloak of night, Serenya slipped through the fortress like a shadow. Her foresight guided her, showing paths unseen and dangers before they arose. At last she found him, chained, beaten, yet still defiant. His head lifted, as if he had felt her presence before she even entered. Their eyes met, and for a moment the world stilled. No chains, no war, no pain, only love. "Serenya?" he whispered, voice raw but filled with reverence. She rushed to his side, tears glistening as her hands trembled against his bruised skin. In that instant, their bond reignited, stronger than ever.
But fate would not release them so easily. Alarms rang through the fortress as guards flooded the halls. Aelion, weakened, could barely stand, yet Serenya's magic surged like a tempest. She raised her hands, and the very stones of the fortress shuddered, shadows recoiling from her light. "You will not take him from me again," she declared, her voice carrying the strength of the ancients. Together they fought, a warrior bound in chains and a seer burning with love. Every strike, every spell was not just for survival, but for the promise of the life they had been denied.
At the height of the battle, Serenya unleashed a vision so powerful it shattered the warding runes. Chains snapped from Aelion's wrists, his strength flooding back like fire to dying embers. He seized a fallen blade, and for the first time in months, hope surged in his veins. Fighting side by side, they carved a path through the enemy, their movements in perfect harmony.
two souls bound not just by love, but by destiny. Yet, as dawn's first light crept over the horizon, Serenya realized the truth. Their battle was not yet won. Destiny still had its price.
Outside the fortress, they paused, breathless. Aelion gazed at her, awe in his eyes. "You risked everything," he said softly, "for me." She smiled, though her tears betrayed her fear. "Not just for you, for us, for the love the stars themselves cannot deny." But as they embraced, Serenya felt a shadow linger in her heart. The visions had warned her, for Aelion to live, something must be sacrificed. She had defied fate once, but fate never forgets. And though she held him now, she wondered what the cost of their reunion would be.
The humans, enraged by their escape, rallied for war greater than before. Armies marched toward Eldoria, fueled by vengeance and greed. Aelion and Serenya returned to their people, yet whispers spread quickly. Some saw their love as salvation, others as doom. The Moon Council questioned her defiance, but even in their stern eyes lay fear. For her foresight had awakened, brighter and wilder than ever. She foresaw rivers of blood, forests burning, and a choice that could shatter everything they held dear. Still, in Aelion's arms, she found strength. Together, they vowed to face whatever destiny awaited.
As war thundered once more across Eldoria's borders, Aelion led his warriors, and Serenya guided with visions. They stood side by side on the battlefield, their love a beacon that inspired their people. But in the chaos of clashing steel and roaring fire, Serenya saw it, a single moment where fate demanded payment, a blade destined for Aelion's heart. Time slowed as she made her choice. With a cry, she stepped into the strike, her light blazing as steel pierced her chest. The battlefield froze as Aelion caught her falling form, her blood shimmering like starlight.
"Why, Serenya?" Aelion's voice broke as he held her, tears streaming like rain. She touched his face with trembling hands, her eyes glowing faintly with the last of her power. "Because love is stronger than destiny." Her voice was soft, fading, but filled with peace. With her final breath, she poured her foresight into him, gifting him the strength to end the war. Her sacrifice ignited the elves, their cries shaking the heavens, and the humans fled in fear of a love that defied even death. But for Aelion, victory was hollow without her beside him.
Years later, Aelion became a legend, known as the warrior who carried both love and sorrow in his heart. Eldoria flourished again, but in the stillness of night, he could still hear Serenya's voice in the wind guiding him, reminding him that their bond was eternal. Their love story was not one of fairy tale endings, but of sacrifice, destiny, and the courage to love beyond fear. And now, Their tale lives on, whispered among the stars. If this story touched your heart, join us here at Elven Hearts for more timeless tales of passion, sacrifice, and love among the elves. Subscribe, like, and share your thoughts, because sometimes the greatest battles are fought not with swords, but with the heart.